that could potentially make playoffs as we get into game 1.
Yeah, these are teams of growth. You already mentioned the Silas. That's going to be banned immediately. Dominus have done their homework. So already seeing the Sona and Silas bans are something that you welcome.
Yeah, more homework there for Dominus Esports, but the first pick locked in as a Nico here to start off the series.
Yeah, Nico is a great mid lane option right now. Right now, what you always want to see out of facilitating mid laners are A, CC, slows, just a utility that you can provide, and shove in lane, and she gives you both. So I love the fact that we've seen a change from the press the attacks Nico top lanes, which you're still going to be seeing, and like it's still a great option if you have a fantastic split push top lane talent. Yep. But the current meta revolves around you being able to play glacial augment mid, get your shove consistently so you can move around your jungle. That's something Xiaopeng is going to love.
Twang's already picked that up before as well. So keep in the back of your mind that for Xiaopeng, he's lost his jungle option once again in the Nidalee. The Olaf is a response picked up here from Weiwei, and this is an early Azir Raz.
Wow. I mean, not a lot of people right now around the world even like Azir at the moment because it just feels like it's too slow, doesn't set up for your plays too often, and has a lot of counter picks that can deal with you. So now they're banking on the fact that this is going to be Nico going into the mid lane, and I think they're safe to make that call. I just want to see if there's any bit of, way to support him through the lane. I think Olaf is the trick for that.
Funnily enough, the last Azir to be picked up here in the LPL was against Suning in that game 2 from JDG. So getting flashbacks there, see if Maple can use it to that fruition. For Dominus Esports, they're looking elsewhere. It's the bottom lane they're interested in. A Yuumi, a rare pickup here.
Yeah, Yuumi's going to be fun. For Dominus, it's going to be interesting because, of course, Mark has been the engaged type. He's the type that wants to be able to go on the Galio or Alistar to pass. But you need to be able to play Yuumi in this meta. She's just busted at the moment. And I think that, going back to the Azir point, now being paired up with Lux, there's a lot of great disengage and pick potential there for Suning. I already love what they have for the first 3 picks here, just because not only do you have great jungle pacing, they already started out with a jungle ban in Italy, and they can continue to go down that mark knowing that Dominus haven't picked up a jungler.
Yep.
Lee Sin's probably the next best. But back to my point, Nico engages are actually very easy to dissuade. If you have strong enough vision control, if you're doing well in the early portions of the game, then the Azir ultimate can even just be held for that. Even the Lux Q that you've been looking towards, the light binding, can just be able to keep her at an arm's reach. That was the issue of yesterday, the series that you casted, where the Nico wasn't able to do much if she didn't get the flank.
Yeah. Also want to point out light binding into the Sivir lane. Super hard to deal with because you've always got 2 abilities you want to stop. And what it gets paired up with an AD carry is going to be the next question. But while we're sitting on that, while we're mulling it over, jungle bans here from Suning. The Rek'Sai already gone with the Jarvan still being up.
Yeah, Jarvan might be the next go-to. I did say Lee Sin, but usually much happier dealing with the Lee Sin if I'm an Olaf. So Olaf is only really worried about a Jarvan just for the Cataclysm. Then you would have to use your flash. You don't have a dash on that one. So it would make a lot of sense to take that one off the board. But
Rise flex instead, okay.
Rise is something they don't want Dominus to have.
Something that hasn't really been prioritized by Dominus in the past, so interesting ban away by Suning.
But remember, if you look back to what Dominus have set up for themselves, that we're pretty confident that's going to be a Nico mid, Rise top lane is a matchup that you look towards and say that it's just such a dominant top lane pick.
Yep.
Like, we saw what the Shy could do with the Rise last time he had it. Not only had full autonomy on the top side of the map, but of course, he was able to just completely blow up the squishiest champion in the enemy team with the Oblivion Orb pickup. One-shotting the Lux, one-shotting mid lane. So if you're Suning, you don't want yourself essentially having to worry too much about the top side, knowing that Biu is that one lane, that one weakness that is really sprouted for the team, then give him a good matchup.
Performing so darn well recently, that's right. Suning, there's the cannon locked in here for the top side.
Yeah, I was saying that he's performing poorly, personally.
Oh, wait.
No, yeah.
Oh,
he's had some good games, some good performances.
I thought he was going better.
But largely, he's been the lane that people have started to bully in the most recent loss. So that's something that I would, if I'm Dominus, want to focus on a little bit more. You're starting to see that. The Kennen pick just because, you're happy about the lane matchup, theoretically, knowing that Rise is off the chart, but immediately the Rumble pickup from Dominus should do quite well.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen Rumbles here in the LPL, but look at the win rate there. Hasn't been as successful on the middle to lower tier teams at the moment. I'm curious to see how it's executed by Dominus and how this goes through. This fits his play style to a T.
I know that they're just going between back and forth. There we go. Kindred on Xiaopeng. There is great reason to be excited about this. He is one of the best Kindred players in the world. And I'm talking about like Kirei, There are a few players out there right now that you really respect, highly touted Kindred players, and I think right now Xiaopeng is that type.
We've been rating him high as a jungler for a good reason, so put him on something like the carry. Yeah.
Almost forgot scores Kindred.
I'll side with that. Fun pickup for Suning here while we're mulling over is going to be the Caitlyn. So SMLZ once again looking to challenge the lane.
Oh my god. This is the type of lane that you just feel so sad about going into, right? I know a lot of players, professional players, hate going up against Sivir Yuumi just because of how much shove that it has, how easy it is to land your Q as a Sivir once the slow from Yuumi's Q lands as well. So like thinking of it that perspective, yeah, you're upset about Gala and Mark, but I'm upset about just the 70% HP that you can take off of a champion level 2 with the Lux binding, trap, auto attack, Q. Trap.
Yeah.
It's just sad, man. It's just it doesn't make you feel right.
You spell shield one of those. You deny 10%. That's it. That's all you can deny at this point. So going up against the Sivir lane, SMLZ going to have a good time. And when we're hyping up the bottom lane of Suning, this seems right to start off the series with.
100%. Like, you have control in the bottom side of the map, paired up with great jungle priority, like being able to go through your camps with the greatest of ease. The only concern that I have now is if we're just talking about purely jungle matchup, Kindred wins out in skirmishes with the range that she has, right? People always talk about, well, what happens if Kindred walks into a bush and gets hit with an axe? Yeah, of course she's going to die, right? So Olaf has to be smart in how he paths around the jungle. As you can see, that's Mark, by the way. Last split, he made that bet that if he'd go far or be able to take down EDG, I'm pretty sure that was a bet. Of course, making the playoffs, I think it was. Then he would cosplay, and he did it. He went on stream.
He did it.
Everybody loved it. Now it's being used against him. In the posters that Suning had, they just have him tied up along with a dinosaur, Dominus. And yeah, they just made it seem like, you know what, now this is who you are.
It'll die out eventually, just like Amazing Jay's cosplay. That lasted about a split. So give him some time, see what happens.
You got to be proud about it. He is. He ain't going to, bat an eye. In fact, he should do exactly what Sneaky is right now. Make money off that. Get on that Patreon.
Embrace it.
Hell yeah.
Well, we're about to get into game number 1. Doesn't even look like we're looking at the rosters here. We're just going to show the logo, jump on in, and for good reason. Dominus versus Suning is a testament to where Dominus can stand here in the summer split. If they're really falling, well, they can rise to the occasion and take down the likes of Suning, who are already there standing strong.
That is the next series, my friend. LGD will be playing in the next series. That all said, I want to be able to see what the keystones are here.
We'll have a quick look across, because Maple, I always love lethal tempo is here. It's just personal favorite. You get into the mid to late game fights, and you don't stop.
Yeah, that's always a good kind of debate point around Azir players around, because you see Halo Blades, Lethal Tempo, Comet.
Electrocute.
Yeah, that's true as well. But yeah, Lethal Tempo is just a great team fight tool that you're able to use for yourself. And you know he's going to be able to get out of lane pretty scot-free with this one. I'm not too concerned with the poke, because there is none, that he's going to be dealing with. So I think he's going to get shoved in. I think that's like if once Twilight is able to get level 9, rank 5 on Q. But you can already see.
Big start from Xiaopeng, straight to the blue buff, which was watered out early.
Yeah, so level 1s are my favorite thing, just kind of discussing, because it can, yes. You've been casting with me for too much, for too long. But yeah, sadly in the LPL, you get into the game about 50 seconds in, and that means you already lost out on, where the invade went through, what the ward was. Kindred is able to get the early ward on top of red, so immediately turning into a vertical jungle. So the drafting that Suning had initially, where they banned out the Rise and hoping that they had a strong topside blind pick, I mean, they didn't get that. Rumble on the top side of the map is going to be shoving, and the only concern is that Rumble doesn't have too good of a wave control, probably one of the worst, because he has to trade through the wave.
Yeah.
So Kindred's making the best of it by pathing topside and getting a full clear here. But that does mean you need to get that early ward out. Take a look at the mini-map. Rumble does just that, knowing that Olaf should be in the area.
Yep, going to go to Krugs, knows that the red's gone now. That is pretty rough for Maple, but what we expected, trades to be back and forth. Twyla does have the shove. Well, for Xiaopeng, he's going to triple buff. He's in a good position.
And Twyla has potion advantage. And top, not only just of course, both of them have biscuits, but he has one extra corrupting potion to his name. So it's going to be a little bit more of a concern for Maple being shoved in, being out-traded just a little bit more heavily. Makes it so Xiaopeng has an easier bit of control on the top side of the map. So Dominus already starting off this game strongly.
That's all you need. This is his mark as well. So first mark going to be taken here by the Kindred jungle. And Xiaopeng to that start as well. He can start roaming up, maybe look towards top side, but good vision control from Biobio. Going to drop a ward into that try. And Xiaopeng wasn't going to go there anyway.
There we go. And it respawns, or at least the mark comes back onto the map about every 40 seconds.
Yep.
Makes it so you can now start focusing on the next few camps, which is Raptors plus Gromp. So if Gromp is not on the field for the enemy, if, let's say, Olaf, he had it projected that Olaf is taking Gromp, then he needs to be able to put himself in a position to end up, like, helping Twyla shove through mid or going alongside him so he can take advantage of the second mark, which would be the enemy Raptors. Speaking of Raptors...
But he's not set up for this. Hasn't been spotted. Way at full health. Xiaopeng going to walk into him. Here comes the undertow, the 1v1. Viking mad. Viking not sad. That's first blood there going to Suning.
Remember what I said before the game even started? Walking into a bush and an Olaf is just sitting in there. There's not much you can do about the matchup. Even though you pick it for the matchup, the range advantage that Kindred would have, be able to duck and dodge with your Q. You don't get that shot when he's already on top of you with the first Q slow.
It's just such simple pathing. Gets the first blood, walks to mid, help get the shove out for Maple, who can now back and is in a very good position. Doesn't have to use the TP to get back to lane as well. So the way we're already getting this game kicked off, and why we talk about the Olaf in the LPL so common is because of plays like this.
Yeah, and so that's something that will start to snowball. He's picked up his blue smite, so the early slow that he will have will compile up with his Q. So just essentially, if Flash is down on a member, thankfully Xiaopeng didn't use his Flash, then he's going to be just jumping on top of you. He's going to get a kill on top of you. That being said, we've had our discussion at the beginning of the game about SMLZ throughout his career.
Yep.
Sword Art's not feeling too happy, but take a look at SMLZ. He's going to be on the pro view for the LPL side on Doyu and Huya.
Makes sense.
I did hear that they started charging now, so
okay.
It's not a free experience anymore.
I'm glad. I was saying that yesterday or the day before, so that's not too good. But Maple in the mid lane. This is a trade he doesn't want to take. Twyla, by the way, has hit level 6 here, so Pop Blossom ready. For the bottom lane, you're seeing trades go back and forth now. There is a pro view focus on SMLZ, who's had to back away, but has the TP to get back into lane after picking up a BF sword in his first back.
Yeah, and that's going to be the most influential part, coming through with his BF sword. Now, remember, the auto attack range that you have is the reason why Caitlyn does quite well in the matchup. The only concern, once again, is the fact that now you have to start taking the Sivir Q into account. She can start landing that on a champion as long as Mark is able to nail his own. Now, remember, he's low in mana, so it's going to be a lot easier for Gala and Mark until they expend their own teleport, get back to base.
But it's time to look to the top side because Xiaopeng is making the move, but spotted out going for Krugs. Now, not a mark up here, but assuming that Wei Wei's going to be nearby, he proxies away for a bit into Bubu underneath the turret, slicing Maelstrom. That's the outplay you need to see. Chung Hong goes down. The equalizer comes late, and Maple to get into the play. He's done enough. The Emperor's defied. Slices DMO.
They had no idea where Maple was. He comes out of nowhere, and he gets the second kill for his team. So well played and well orchestrated by Suning.
Split across the board as well. Give one to top, jungle, and mid. And Maple makes the roam happen, doesn't miss out on too much, apart from this half a wave. Best roam of his game.
I sang the praise of Maple for that play. But Bubu to start it all off. The moment he saw Chung Hong got aggro, with that, he was like, all right, I'm in there. I can immediately get the stun proc on top of him. 2 turret shots and he's dead. So you'd have to question Chung Hong in that exact situation. Why he even started out before the wave hit, before Kindred was in position. He set them out to dry. They would have still lost that because, you know, Wei Wei was in the area at the exact same time at Maple, but they didn't even give themselves a chance to start it all off.
This just puts Xiaopeng so far behind as well. Already 10 CS in the jungle that he's dropped by. His second death of the game as well. And
he's out of it.
He's picked up 1 mark.
That's simply what it is right now. He's out of the game. It sucks at this stage. He can make another play. I think his best play would be...
Are we looking bot side?
I'm thinking bot or mid.
Okay.
He just needs to start farming up is my call. If he gets to level 6, he's going to be happy. But if he ever tries to go for a gank at the same time as Olaf, who's out-leveled her, has Ragnarok, and you don't have Flash, that's suicidal. So I think it makes a lot of sense for him to farm up to 6. and then try and look for a gank through mid or bot.
Especially since in the LPL, we have Warriors Olaf 99% of the time. So
it's just far more efficient. That's the issue with Cinderhawk in general, the tank build. But
final chapter. Wow, Sword Art took 1 bit of damage, and that was it.
It sucks when you get hit by that first Q.
Yep.
You got to feel the pain.
So that was heal burned by Sword Art. 2 summoners down in the bottom lane, but both flashes available. While Xiaopeng is making the aggressive move towards blue buff, but mistimed, looking for his mark instead.
But they do not know that that river was warded, that there was an extra ward that caught Xiaopeng in rotation. Take a look at this.
There's a 1v1 going to happen though, because Changhong is overheated in that moment. Has the equalizer. Could have been the fight back for a solo kill.
Yeah, not much happens here. He's going to be able to eat the wave at his tower. If I'm thinking about what Rumble should do here, I'd push and base. Be a good timing. But speaking of base timing, this is getting a little rough.
It's getting annoying for the bottom lane, but Weiwei's nearby. Gala and Mark still able to poke out the wave, and SMLZ takes that one and thinks about going back.
It's funny how a ranged matchup is redefined when Yuumi is into the mix.
Yes.
Like the whole idea of Caitlyn versus Sivir. Largely, Caitlyn is pretty ecstatic about the matchup. Then you have to deal with the effective range of Yuumi, and that's just infinity. It actually just hurts.
When you set out the boomerang blade like that and you follow that up, SMLZ, the 90 caliber net just to get him out. And a bit of turret plating there for bottom lane of DMO while the Dragon gets started up.
It was still divided between him and Mark, unfortunately. You'd want the full gold on to Gallop, but it's all right. That cat gets gold too. Gonna be pretty happy about it.
And the Dragon adds on to the mix. When you have bottom lane priority, this makes it very easy for Xiaopeng to start this one up and take it away. So trying to pull himself back into the game. That'll be a starting piece alongside the Scuttle Crab.
And now I'm just happy about what Xiaopeng has done. He's really focused on the lanes that are doing well. Doesn't make any abnormal ganks. Allows Phyla, Gala, and Mark to just essentially continue to shove out their lanes so they can do what they can do in the bottom side of the map. Now it's going to be a game for them about Dragon. Next one's going to be Ocean. They can essentially try and look for the next one. I think Suning are going to be pretty confident picking that fight. But take a look at the swap here. 10 minutes in, we see this from multiple teams.
Yes.
Their next goal is going to be Rift Herald.
Very common in the LPL. Like, again, that 99% stat I'm going to use here again has been the go-to in the past couple of weeks. So the Kindred now has a Yuumi attached to her. Will be walking up to the top side, but this is spotted out. Good Pixel Brush ward here from Suning. They'll be onto it straight away.
But they can't do anything.
Okay.
They've kept their dual lane to the bot side of the map. Unless if they're looking for a play here.
They're hard forcing
this
underneath
is really
the turret.
weird.
SMLZ takes the turret, Equalizer comes down, Biu forces the flash out of Changhong. They get the stun eventually. Light binding into the big beam. Sword Art takes 2 turret shots and dies. Ace in the hole will get it, but a 1-for-1 trade. That was messy from Suning.
It was, but they felt like they were forced to make the play. Usually teams just rotate their dual lane topside, match them if you can. But they put themselves in a 1v, in a lane swap situation with no objective bot side. So it really felt like Biu was set up to fail. He made the teleport bot side, and I think that was a good heads-up play. Execution obviously is difficult when a Rumble just has ultimate.
They're going to struggle now as well because DMO have the upper hand. They're going to get first turret blood. Mid lane is stable for them. So this is a good recovery into the game as to what before was small wins. This definitely a big one.
And this goes back to what made Dominus so strong last split. The IQ. The understanding of how to play out the early portions of the game. And even though Xiaopeng, as you had mentioned, fell behind early, it wasn't to his fault. He just got surprised.
Yeah.
And so he understood he needs to play through his bot side, and take a look at this.
No one's here for this as well, so a bit more damage going to go on that top side. And Changhong coming in for SMLZ. Here we go into the Flame Spitter.
Help!
SMLZ getting the rest of Suning, but is he going to die before then? One Electric Harpoon lands, but they get the light binding down, they get the damage. He is dead. SMLZ even picks up the kill, but the Rift Herald's still going.
All right, we ain't stopping anywhere. Take it.
Suning keep trading off these kills for objectives, and DMO getting the upper hand. Biu finally here, but that net inhibitor turret, getting ahead of myself as well, almost goes down.
There we go. You want to keep it up, though. You want waves to be bouncing up top side for as long as possible. I would actually be upset if the top lane turret went down, because my concern is that you have waves still continuing to push top side. Biu would be able to hold the wave and essentially like freeze up and challenge Dominus to make a play on the bottom side of the map. Now, it's still Dominus having, of course, the ability to play aggressively bot side with, Suning not having a numbers game. But I think it's still a good idea to hold that top lane tower.
And although we see a longer lane in the top side, we've got a similar scenario in the bottom side as well, where Gala has gone back to, going to farm up, and work towards that second item. You can see for both AD carries, Essence Reaver versus Infinity Edge, SMLZ, just raw hardcore damage to kick us off.
Okay, that makes sense. Of course, the ultimate damage is one thing you're looking for. And on top of that, the crit chance increase, not the crit chance, the damage on crit chance increase when you're able to hit your autos is a positive. I think that this, like, not much is going to be changing about what Suning does well as a composition, which is group up, try and siege. That's something that I would love to see. Alongside a Lux that's actually highly underrated. Good steal here.
Yeah, it was a nice one for Weiwei, just with the undertow and Smite combined. Still looking for something. Now, this is dangerous, but Weiwei is about half a second late.
Had no idea who was in the bush, but always got to throw that axe just to see. Now they put themselves in a good spot. I mean, right now, if you're looking at where Kennen is stationed, he's just in a good placement just in case anyone comes in a flank. Always there for his teams. Now they're going to be able to take this turret. That's what their composition is set up to achieve.
So still through the mid lane, they're going to find a pick onto Twyla, who gets half health but not burnt out. They hold this turret, but look at the top side of the map. Changhong is just pushing away. Will get the wave back up once again, but with no vision in the top side jungle, Suning can make a play.
I would love to see Changhong rotating into the play for his ultimate. I mean, this is just going to be the same thing you'll be seeing for the next 10 minutes. Suning grouping up for mid lane outer turret, inner turret even. They have a great amount of range, and even more threatening, the Lux binding is going to set up for literally everything for Suning. You need to try and find that flank to break it up. Changhong is the key.
Not only that, if they get caught out as well, let's not forget for a team like Suning, the catch potential's still there, as we talked about how this comp actually works. And setting up towards that Ocean Dragon, we might see it in fruition.
We said that Suning would try and contest for it this time round, and they are. They're in the area.
At least you got your demand though, Raz. Changhong is now with the rest of the team of DMO. He's going to be spotted out in a full 5-on-5 in the works.
Gotta watch out, Weiwei. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, Bubi's in the middle. He flashes in with a slicing maelstrom. Finally, the Lamb's Respite comes out, but now for Suning, Maple shuffles them backwards. The Azir in full control as he just turns onto Gala. Lethal tempo in effect, but ace in the hole it is as Bubi making the escape and Twyla chasing him down. He's done low. He sends out a shuriken just to try and save his life. Twyla pops on top of him though as DMO come out roughly even.
Such a strong fight for Suning at the end, and they're the ones that can stand tall off this one.
Double binding. Yeah, I take it back. Not roughly even. In fact, Twyla even feeling the measure. A 3-for-2 trade in the end, and this turret going down with the Ocean.
Yes, so that's the major win for Suning. The fact that they are much stronger at the end of the fight, they could pick up the tower that they've been sieging for, and the one that they were even fighting for at the beginning with the Ocean Dragon. Huge fight win for Suning.
Mountain following up from that as well. We'll look at how this started.
Bubu came out big with his Kennen ultimate. Now, the Kindred ultimate made all things come awry, but this is why the Azir seemingly was so influential here. Remember, the Kindred got picked into the Azir. They knew the Azir was locked in rather early, and that's one of the major weaknesses of the Kindred pick is any champion that can boot you out of your own ultimate. Now, he technically, they were still in the ultimate by the end of the duration of his own ulti, but he kept the enemy team in the fight. There was no strong disengage from Dominus, and that's what was really a strong factor for Suning there.
And when Olaf walks into the middle of that ult, you get him low, you get him fast attacking, so that when that ult stops, the Olaf pretty much rampages at you anyway. So there's so many elements of Suning that can succeed through the Lamb's Respite.
A lot of spread gold here. We're talking about turret plating. A lot of that, the reason is because Mark decided to keep around Gala for a little bit too long. That would have been a larger gold for Gala at the end. It was a little unfortunate there, but if you just take a look through it, that was just because topside was just completely run roughshod by that Rift Herald. So Dominus got themselves back into the game because of that, but because of the last team fight, you know, Suning was able to retain that. This is when you feel bad for the KFC, you know, the Colonel. Because this game has been a back and forth.
He has no idea where to go. Of course, 2,000 gold lead here for Suning after that last fight. And big items that were already on the board. You're now looking at a needlessly large rod in the top side. Bubu looks like he's going for the Spellbinder once again.
Good call here. I'm just going to go back and say... that, you know, the whole Colonel thing, I wouldn't rear my head out too.
Okay.
I wouldn't touch it.
He's trying to defend the Colonel.
I mean, personally speaking, if this game's coming out and you've been wrong about 80% of the time, you hide your face.
I'm not sure what the Colonel's win rate is, but I think it's not too bad. So I'll side with the Colonel, see what he says, but Raz, my concern in this game at the moment, the fact that SMLZ silently getting more and more gold, up in this top lane, gets a solo turret. He already had the rapid fire cannon. He picked up another kill in that fight. And while Suning keep him quiet and Twilight farms his side wave, they're making a move in the top side around the Caitlyn.
I'm not too happy with the fact that he was alone. It's nice that now Lux is in the area. You saw how close the last fight was with, you know, SMLZ almost getting picked up by Chang Hong. But this is what you want to see out of Suning's composition. I just do not think that Dominus needs to consistently look to trade on the opposite side. I think they should challenge for these fights because if you look at Suning's composition, they don't have a lot of great, strong, like frontline disengage options. They have a lot of wonderful offensive abilities, and I think if we're coming down to it, Cannon's ultimate is probably going to be a great way to disengage from flanks, but I mean, it's not too strong. You can play around it. In fact, the best way of doing that is the Rumble ultimate. Yep. The fact that they're trading gold, I think, is not the right call, but, you know, they're still in the game.
If they want to make these trades as well, play the aggressive move. Go turret for turret. They're missing out on TPs on the side of DMO. Gala and Twala both don't have that mobility. We're Suning 3 TPs on the side ready to go.
And I think at the end of the day, BB will be happy on side lane, so he's not concerned about anything happening on the bottom side of the map. They just opened up the top side when Baron is coming up in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So there is so much pick potential on this squad. They can move between the inner mid and inner top lane turret. So they have a lot of options here. Suning should never leave the top side.
Vision's blind in that top side as well. While DMO have control over the next upcoming dragon, it's not going to matter. Vision just cleared by Suning. 20 seconds till that Baron comes up. And that river is dark as anything.
Yeah, they don't know that just yet. I think they haven't really popped their red trinkets. You're already seeing them start to. So red trinkets up and running. And I don't remember. There we go. Even Ken was able to use it as he was moving towards the bottom side of the map. So here's the siege that we've been looking for.
I love Suning playing the aggressive factor in this top lane turret, but there is so much wave clear here from DMO. Hard for them to continue the siege, just back to the river again.
That's why you'll see the top teams, and this is a good challenge for Suning now, that they'll have both mid and top side waves, at least the waves that they're rotating with, crash at the same time. So they truly do have an option of bouncing top, keeping one member there, and then moving to the mid lane.
Ooh, hello on the hunt into SMLZ, forces the flash. Gala. 2 ults for the bottom lane duo of DMO. TP comes in from Bubu.
And Weiwei took a lot of damage. They can't even counterfight off that one. So they're going to lose a lot of vision off this. This is the concern you probably had about that Warriors Olaf. Yeah. Great snowballing potential, but you don't have much of an HP to your name.
That's right. Weiwei not even towards the Black Cleaver for an extra bit of health. So as he picks up the dragon, he will be able to pick up some of the lettuce leaves in the river and head towards the mountain straight away. That's spawned, and no one from DMO around it.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, when you're getting shoved in mid lane, you can't do too much. Rumble's in position, though, so you can already see them starting to get there. If it's slow enough, they'll take this fight.
Chang Hong has been spotted out, and he's starting to do a lot of damage with the Oblivion Orb and that Leandri's Torment in inventory over the wall. Jump on, goes to the steal, and he gets it. Take a mark, take the kill, take the prowling projectiles. Weiwei caught out as well. Bubu out of position, slicing Maelstrom defensively. Never what you want to see out of a cannon. You never want to see Weiwei stuck on the wrong side of the wall.
He didn't have flash anymore. I don't think we saw how he used flash, and I want to find out. Sir?
I think he used it to get away.
We'll find out. Investigative Raz is on the case.
But now, 20 seconds, Raz with no jungler, 4v5. DMO see an opening, it looks like they're going to take it.
Yeah, but I think Suning have to slow them down. You look at the composition Dominus have, they don't have any tanks. They can be stalled here at this Baron buff, but man, are they burning with the double mountain.
Double mountain dragon that comes through means that now Chang Hong can zone off, the rest of them can continue doing it. Bubu does not have ultimate, but has flash sword out with the light binding on a Gala with the final chapter. Pop blossom with the flash down. Immediately Twilight makes his name known again. The Lambs respite the Baron. Everyone lives, and that is what you want to see out of the team fighters DMO.
So well executed. Just on the top side, you saw that Xiaopeng was running out of HP on that Baron buff alone, but used his ultimate to keep himself alive and get that execution on Baron buff while his team was taking the fight.
When you have yourself a Sivir with 2 items, and Nico with 2 items as well, and the Rumble just picks up his second. Now with the Baron buff, this team in the mid game starts becoming deadly.
Man, I want to see the replay. There's actually, this is the one game.
You asked for a double replay, yeah.
I'm asking for too many. But that was just so wonderful to see. That fight, when they didn't have a true front line, their ability to kind of trade focus. You can look to focus towards the Baron buff, but keep the rest of your team on the fight. Chang Hong splitting up his team, the enemy team, and then you get to see the benefit of that. So here's the Rumble ultimate. Sword Art can't do anything to help. So he's trying to burst down Kindred, does that, but of course Xiaopeng keeps himself alive, and you can see the result of the fight that ensued.
Mark and Twyla paired up there in the end of that fight as well, and that's what made it so magical, was that Mark got the root down after hitting those 3 final chapters, and Twyla easy pop blossom for him to execute. At this point, DMO, their execution much better than we expected coming into this. And now running up with the Baron buff and onto SMLZ. Chunghong flushes forward, goes Golden, survives. The Flame Spitter spitting out some fire breath and a half as the ultimate is wasted again. Viewview can't get the execution, and Chunghong dying here means that for Suning, this could be the recovery. Onto Twyla's fake clone, they get nothing, and Xiaopeng and Gala both live. Execution goes awry, but still the fight over to DMO.
Another great Rumble ultimate that just kept SMLZ on that red carpet. He wanted to get away, but there was one option, and he had to walk that line. So that's tough, dog. That's, you know what, I feel that.
He's improved so much over the course of this game. It's been the story of Chunghong, gets bullied out in the earlier portion, caught out, surprised, as I believe you put it. Now to the point where this Rumble being perfectly executed, where other teams in the LPL can't make that same execution.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this one more time. Rumble ultimate comes through while he's already slowed, by the way. If he goes to the right, he's getting chased down by Chunghong. He still did at the end of the day. That's flash and, of course, stopwatch to be able to make his case. Snare, exhausted. Viewview couldn't take that fight.
It was rough as well. The Pop Blossom and the Slicing Maelstrom both used defensively, but rather just negated Viewview from ever getting on those 3 members. So with DMO playing like this, they're still in control. They still have 50 seconds of Baron buff left.
This is the type of game that I've been wishing for and waiting for. Like, we've seen so many snowball type of scenarios with one of our best teams, with FBX, EDG, Invictus Gaming, even to a certain degree. When they take the field, it feels like a snowball. This time around, this is genuinely a back-and-forth experience where I have no idea who's going to be able to take this one. I will say for certain, Chunghong and Twyla are playing up massively.
We wanted to see the best out of the solo laners of DMO, and I think we've got it at the start of game number 1, but now it still comes down to that execution. Triple Mountain on the menu after this push, but SMLZ alone.
You can't be alone, especially in range of the Q from Mark, but if they're able to get out of this, it's just a lot of damage.
Viewview in a great flanking position, but didn't have the flash available, so he's going to let that one go alongside the inner turret in the mid lane.
You always have to be aware, cognizant of the free poke that comes with the Q from Mark. That slow is extraordinary, and it does some damage on SMLZ, so he needs to be aware of that, just in case if there's a follow-up from Gala's Q. Same if I'm thinking about Twyla as well. Here we go. Trying to pick on someone.
May have found a cheeky Olaf. Won't get the 3rd proc here, but Wolf goes back to position. While Gala, with his wave clear and his boomerang blade, starting to throw some cheeky pizzas out. This mountain, they have control of it.
Yeah, but that's forcing mid-priority from Suning. I wonder if they want to contest this or if they wait for the next wave and start shoving that out.
Gala poked out a little bit. Can't get the spell shield off. Positioning gone awry. Nope. Triple Mountain just given over.
That's a feels bad. At this point, suddenly, next Baron, you need to be in positioning of that. That is so much damage on the side of Dominus, and you saw how quickly they were able to just burn through the last Baron buff. This one's going to be easier if it gets to that point.
Sacrifice a quid pro quo, Suning say. They head to the inhibitor turret. Now this might be a bit of a bite, but getting the inner off mid priority is still a small win.
If you're Suning, start backing into Fog of War and make the best opportunity with Sword Art's Light Binding. If you can make that call, a Azir ult to follow up, that would be your ticket back into this one.
Yeah. Also, that Slicing Maelstrom, 3-4 members.
It's all about timing.
Yeah.
Because if you make that call, it's not even, in my mind, a good call with Xiaopeng still holding on to his ultimate. So it's really just a mind game about if you can get a good burst onto Xiaopeng to force his ultimate out, get the Azir ultimate to follow up, Cannon ultimate to end the Kindred ulti, like all of this comes into mind. So you have to think of someone to start off this fight and be able to peel Xiaopeng's ultimate off. I think it's going to be the life binding from Sword Art.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that because Sword Art going to be crucial then. But for DMO, hovering around this next Baron, which spawns in 30 seconds. Also want to point out there's potential for the cannon to just burst people down and stun the Kindred before she could ult in a rare case. So there are so many elements at play here for Suning, but the advantage still to DMO, the pressure on SN.
Yeah. You can see right now Gala's trying to position himself to make the best use of Mark's slow and poke. Nothing really coming about it.
Infinity Edge, by the way, on Gala, if we haven't noticed there. Almost towards the 4th item, which is going to be a morph. SMLZ trailing here, but has opted in for the QSS. So 80 carry measure still there. Measuring up better for Gala.
And remember, both supports are Enchanter supports at the end of the day.
Yep.
Their itemizing breakpoints are incredibly crucial to how they succeed right now. So you see Athene's Unholy Grill on both ends. Ardent Sensor is something I'm looking towards Mark. He has double AD carry that he can work with both Xiaopeng and Gala. So right now, Xiaopeng is at a pretty good point of his build. If he has that Ardent Sensor on top of him, he's doing amazing things. So, oh no, you don't want SMLZ leading the charge on this. Okay.
With triple mountain as well. Suning in a bad position in the mid lane. Wave clear comes through once again from DMO. And they're still barreling up here, but Light Binding does connect. No follow through.
But now Dominus have peeled them away from the Baron, but areas that they had heavily control warded. So they're going to lose so many wards that they've set up. They don't have wards themselves out for this one. So if they get cleared out, they need to go back to base and be able to recharge themselves.
Scattered around this mid brush, they're going to eventually run on over. Chang Hong going first. Now, this is an aggressive move from DMO, but they still want that priority after clearing out the vision that they've spotted.
Yeah, they got good control now. It's going to be on Suning to try and force mid lane priority again. This is the type of games you see in North America. And you see these LCS games where it's like them sitting mid and trying to get some pivot. I think Suning are going to get really uncomfortable with the situation. They're going to have to make a call on who starts Baron. They don't want Dominus to make that call with triple Mountain Dragon.
Bubu's made his way back into the river while SMLZ into the bottom side. Weird positioning here, but SMLZ taking a buff away. He's going to be slow to the fight if it happens.
If they start this, they will burn through it. You need to push them away from the pit.
Or maybe take the fight. Xiaopeng gets locked on down with the Light Binding Rage. You called it, but it's not going to be the play that makes it. While On the Hunt was popped by Gala.
They didn't think they had enough damage to force Xiaopeng off it. He has a lot of sustain with the Yuumi, so this is a mind game that is actually favoring Dominus. Oh, are they going to start it?
Starting it
They're
here.
doing it.
If they get caught out.
They want the fight. They're going to turn for it. It makes it so easy for Lux to be able to get her light binding. Let's see if he can get it.
SMLZ is just chunking this as well, so get ready, because DMO have not found Bubu.
Let's see if he can get it.
He's coming in slowly. Level 15. Kennen has ulti. They get the Baron. Chang Hong spots him out. Bubu goes into the Slicing Maelstrom. It's over the edge as well. Gala walks out of the Kindred ult, and Kindred dies herself too. Now the Cat with the final chapter lockdown. Chang Hong has to carry the fight, but I think it's already over. Suning again just come up huge with a massive flank from the Kennen.
Perfectly executed. That's what you want to see in slow, burning, tense situations.
Suning just played it to the core perfectly. Head down mid, look for the game, because I think those death timers are done too long.
Yeah, way too long, way too long. They got the members now. They've got this one.
Well, Suning, there was a question of this game because Dominus looked to be back in form, but suddenly it comes down to one play, and Suning closed the door before Dominus could walk on through.
This was a tough call at the end, so let's talk about it, because we have a best of 3. It ain't the end just yet. We get the hit and nail on the fact that you had triple Mountain Dragon. Triple. You had it. But you weren't willing to make the call to start on the objective because you didn't want any Baron steal situations. You didn't want to use your Kindred ultimate just for that. So there were so many points of concern for Kindred. They weren't willing to make that call, so they lost mid priority. The traps were set up and made it harder for Dominus to even fight through. And then when they got past it, Bubu came in with that big flank.
That's right.
Hell yeah. Look at them. They're feeling really happy about it, except for Weiwei. What the hell's happening, Weiwei? It's Suning Day.
It is Suning Day. It's Bubu Day as far as I'm
Someone
concerned.
throw the mascot in his direction.
I think Bubu, though, I'm straight to him at this point, Razza, because the cannon was what ended that game. Triple kill to give him out, and a perfect execution where Chang Hong TP's in that 1 second earlier and just spots him out before it's too late.
If we're having a discussion about who's going to be the MVP of this game, my mind does go to Bubu. Not just for that late game, like that end game play, but even for the top lane dive that came through, that he was able to nail down, execute incredibly well. Take a look at that goal graph. 2 major moments in that game. A team fight victory that started out with Dominus, and a major team fight loss that ended up, and death timers were too long to claw back.
And now, for Suning, you look at that game and say, well, look, there were elements you were in control for the majority of it, and then Dominus took it away until that final fight.
And they were all fights that happened in that open ground in the Baron area. where I look towards what Dominus were able to provide there with both, of course, Chang Hong's ultimate, dividing the force, Twilight able to come to and
He had
nail
some great
members.
equalizers on Chang Hong.
Exactly. Like, those members really came in clutch at the, I think, 23-minute mark. And then you got to see the end game play, which, in my mind, is more about your positioning, right? You see those games so often in North America where you're forced to be playing and pushing through mid lane. You just have to make a call. Are you going to be starting up on Baron buff? Are you comfortable with losing control? Suning were not, because not only did they recognize enemy team had double Mountain Dragon, but they also had no more control wards simply based on the fact that Dominus had cleared out. So if Dominus cleared out your control wards, and on top of that, they had, if they get repositioned again to get on top of that pit, they're starting it!
And they got triple mountain, that's gone. Like that.
Boom! They had a full carry composition, they're going to be getting it. So, poor call, unfortunate situation for Dominus, that they're going to go back and have that kind of regret loom over them. But Suning were in position, they took that fight, and they really nailed down the execution of BB wrapping around in Fog of War.
And to come back to my previous point, when Suning had control in the early portion of the game, those elements are still fed. SMLZ was still in a very good position for that fight. And in the mid lane as well, like Maple, I think he had a very stellar performance.
Yeah, Maple played well. Maple played well at the end of the day. I think his ability in the last, in the Dragon fight, where he was able to keep Dominus in the fight. He didn't have to knock them out of the Kindred ultimate. That didn't have to happen, right? He just needed to keep them in it.
It looked good.
So they couldn't, it looked amazing. Just so they couldn't skitter off. So I like the fact that we were able to see that team fight from both sides. Dominus, once again, are going to feel heartbroken because, you know, that...
This looks like one of their better performances for sure.
Regardless, they
Apart
need to
from what
be
happened.
looking past performances, and they need to be able to come out with wins.
Yep.
It's one of those situations where you feel happy that you're able to, you know, gain leads so consistently, but you're still coming out with losses. This is situations that, like, teams like Vici have recognized.
Yep.
Teams like BLG will be like, yeah, we were one hit on Nexus before we won the series versus in IG, but we needed wins.
Yeah.
So I understand we're in week 4, but the fact that this team is aiming for the playoffs, just to be in that situation like they were in last play, they need to be able to take this serious.
This is the window they need to take, exactly right. And it comes back to the point of Suning where they see this as the window, they're climbing through it.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking good this split. And it's not Hacker, it's not Xiao, it's Biu Biu and Wei Wei.
Yeah. And so everybody was questioning that.
Yeah.
I was questioning that.
I put him lower than I did last split.
Well, I mean, I was questioning the fact that, you know, you bring out 2 rookies for your squad when your team was known as, like, the super team with Hacker, who was the 3rd best jungler last year, that was, in summer 2018. A lot of people were high on Hacker, and I'm just talking about from my perspective. Hacker was the guy you wanted to build a team around. But then suddenly he gets challenged, gets pushed off, and Wei Wei comes in strong too. So the team was consistent with it, even with the coaching staff change, and they're starting to come out with big wins.
It's going to be the key word, consistency moving forward here for Suning. See if game 2 is a rinse and repeat. If it can get cleaner for them, or Dominus finally take that win that they so desperately need. A short break to find out the answer right after this.